Hi, so welcome to the first day of the Boxing Day Test match. It stumps, and Australia are at 300 odd for 6 wickets down. Some point of time, it looked like they would be like going into stumps 300 for 2 or 3, but like in the last session, Bumrah did take a few wickets and India did bowl decently. But however, overall, it was definitely Australia's day in a packed MCG crowd. I think 87 or 88,000 or something like that was the capacity. So I've got Pranav here with me, and like interestingly, Rishabh joins us from like Melbourne, so he has gone to watch the match over there. So Rishabh, you can start off. So how's the vibe over there? How did you enjoy today? So what was today like?
It didn't start off really well, considering the way the opening partnership, after the first wicket, the partnership went. But the way it ended, the last 1.5 hours was amazing. I mean,
Right.
I don't remember the score. I don't remember the wickets. I just remember that ball from Bumrah, Travis Head leaving it and it clipping the off
Exactly.
stump. That's all what I remember. That's what I'm taking home with me, and that's all what matters. But but also, I mean, credits to the way Sam Konstas batted. I mean, had to
Yeah.
have that audacity, to play a shot like that to Bumrah. Basically, try playing that, not being able to do that, still persisting with it, and then getting it to work for him. I think that was mad, and the crowd was really behind him. Even though it felt as if I'm watching the game in India, because clearly it was
Right.
55-45 to India. If I talk about the support, everywhere you could see blue jerseys, or wherever I could see yellow jerseys, it was Indians only who were wearing the yellow jerseys also. So it actually felt like home, but it was a fantastic experience.
Nice man. So, like overall, I think if we go to the start of the day, so Australia won the toss. Pat Cummins decided to bat. On seems like a pretty good decision now. And overall, so Pranav, coming to you. So, where did India go wrong? Like, is it just the randomness of Sam Constance, like trying the scoops and all these things, or do you think India didn't bowl to a particular line and length properly to him? Like, because I think we like 60 of 65 on a first day, like on with the new ball, I think that's a major chunk of the game going towards Australia. I feel like that's so. Overall, your take on Sam Constance and India's bowling plans?
I think it was brilliant from Sam Konstas because he just threw India's plan apart. But the bigger problem for India is Mohammad Siraj's form because that is what concerns me a bit. Because if you had given the new ball to Akashdeep, maybe it could have made a difference. Because Siraj has bowled around 17 overs. He's considered 60 odd runs, which is, I mean, despite not being hit by Constance that much, he's conceded around 5 runs and over, which is not great because as a second bowler, if you're leaking runs, that's not happy news because then it makes your position in a jiffy stage, right? Because and I feel a lot for Akashdeep because he bowled his heart out. If you ask Rishabh who's sitting in Melbourne, he'd agree with me that he bowled seriously well. I mean, he drew the batters so much. I mean, the Steve Smith call twice. I mean, once India took a review. The previous one where Joel Wilson shook his head, and it could have gone either way. You know, but brilliant umpiring by Joel Wilson. I had put a tweet saying, "Look, Joel Wilson is on the field," but brilliant umpiring by Michael Goff as well. But I think Akashdeep deserved a lot more credit. Particularly, the plans were off by probably Bumrah became a little more predictable when Sam Constance started hitting it, yeah, upsetting his length. But eventually, it is the great man Jasprit Bumrah who brought us back to the game. So you can't complain a lot about what he's done, perhaps. Overall, I liked what Rohit Sharma did from the second session. I think one for
Right.
112 to two for 160 odd was brilliant because one for 64 in the second session is where I think India got back to track. And then they didn't let the game slip away quite a lot. Yes, India are ahead by a bit. Sorry, Australia are ahead by a bit. Beg your pardon. Um, but not by much. If India can get Australia around 370, I think they'll be fancying their chances with the bat because the pitch is still good to bat on. Once you see off that new ball phase, it's easier to bat on, especially with Nathan Lyon being the lone spinner. Uh, with only Jadeja and Washington Sundar and Punk being the left-handers in the lineup, I don't know Lions' effectiveness with the ball. So yeah, it should be fun watching India bat, especially when Rohit Sharma is back opening the batting. So yeah, overall, nice day, but I think Australia will be the happier side uh, at the end of the play.
Yeah, yeah. So even I like feel the same. So I think what's kind of I think tomorrow when you're talking about good batting conditions, I think as we saw in the later stages of the session, I think the ball was doing a bit like it was bouncing a bit. There was a little bit of unevenness. I think tomorrow the pitch might quicken up more under the sun. So we have to see how that works out for the Indian batters. But I think it's obviously if you consider the first three test matches, these are the best batting conditions, no doubt about that. So and I hope India do put up a 350, 370, at least match Australia's score in the first innings to set up the game nicely in the second innings. So, however, so Rishabh, coming to you, so India's team composition today was two spinners like Washington Sundar and Jadeja. So, in this pitch, do you feel that's a fair call, or would you have wanted an extra pacer over there?
I think we have an
Yeah,
internet issue with Rishabh,
am I
probably.
audible to you, Rishabh?
Um,
No.
Yes, yes, up now you are
Yeah,
so sorry. That's
yeah. Yeah, so what I was saying is that
yes.
so regarding this like team composition, so India decided to play with two spinners like Washi and Jadeja. So you saw the ground, you saw the pitch and stuff. So do you think it was a fair call, or do you feel like an extra pacer was the right call over here?
No, I think going into the third innings, fourth innings, keeping that in mind, it was a good call because today also, if you see, it looked there was hardly any grass on the surface. It didn't look green as the other venues looked. It looked very much like an Indian brown soil wicket, right? So, and you could see the way Jadeja got Sam Konstas. That ball did turn. Even though it was early on in the game, he got some spin. There was no consistent spin. Maybe I would say 90% of the balls were going on straight, but there was that 10% where the ball was turning a little bit. So considering that going into the third innings, where if we are fallen behind in the second inning and trying to catch up, those spinners will really come into play. So I feel that's a really good call. And anyway, the batter who replay or who was dropped was not someone who was scoring runs. And the player who came in, somebody like a Washington Sundar, has an ability to score that many amount of runs. So I mean, if you look at it net, it does not make that much of a difference. No offense to Gill, but just going by the current numbers and the way the wicket played, I think that was the right call.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. So regarding Shubman Gill being dropped, so Pranav, so I think we spoke about it the last day or the previous videos that he was averaging 40 outside Asia, like no, not even averaging 40 outside Asia. So like we talked about, he could be dropped. Maybe like we talked about, he could have been given the entire series and then taken a call. So do you feel that like right now it's a fair call, and do you feel that adding Washi, I think it definitely adds more balance to the side and more depth as well with KL Rahul at number three, the solidity playing the Pujara kind of a role. I think that's better from the team composition point of view. Like Gill, I don't think Gill is a number three player, but he definitely can be a part in the top 4 5 kind of a place. But so anyway, so what's your take on Gill being dropped? Yeah,
I think Gill not scoring runs goes against him. Simple, plain. It's just like Rohit wants to open the batting, so you shift KL Rahul down. But can you shift KL Rahul to six? Probably not. Can you shift Shubman Gill to six? Probably not. Can you touch Virat Kohli? Probably not. Can you touch Rishabh Pant? Probably not. Can you touch Jadeja after that 50? Definitely not. So when you're actually addressing the elephant in the room, you know, I'm using a very big term, but when you're addressing the elephants in the room, you have to have somebody who has to go out. And because there were lack of runs, it is unfortunately Shubman Gill. I thought a softer target would be Nitish Kumar Reddy because you didn't really need his seam bowling, although he did bowl well. I mean, with the old ball, 5 overs, 10 runs, it's not that bad performance with the ball. But the problem is that India have or India sort of don't trust their top order a lot at the moment with the moving ball, and so they want someone who can bat until number 8. And I think with Shubman Gill, the problem is you can't shift him down the order because it's eventually the same case with KL Rahul. You're now making him open. Now he's at three. If he hits a century at three, do you carry him to England at three? Nobody knows. So it's the game of musical chairs where you're trying to address a problem which never existed. Because I am not in favor of touching KL Rahul at all from number three, now number two or number one. He's been the best batter of the series, but once Rohit has decided he needs to come back to his own position, then how do you tinker with the lineup? Because KL Rahul has looked all apart. He's been all
Yeah.
class. So you have to push him down at three, do that Pujara's role. So ultimately, Shubman Gill is someone who has to make his way out because that sort of gives you the team balance when you're addressing the elephants in the room. Because I don't, and perhaps this could have been done ideally in the pink ball test. Rohit should have opened from that time because when you're doing it as a makeshift opener, probably you push KL three, Shubman five, and then take it from there. That would have been more easier. But I think uh, merit in retain Nitish, merit in bringing Washington Sundar. But is there merit in moving KL Rahul down? I don't think so. But is there merit in bringing Rohit Sharma up? I don't think so. If this team yields results, brilliant. If it doesn't, then we'll anyway sit and criticize. But I don't agree with KL Rahul shifting down the order. Unfortunate on Shubman Gill, but I seriously hope that he gets a few runs under his belt. Um, yeah, I mean, for him to come back, it's those are never closed for anybody from what I understand. Nobody, even in that case, Pujara and Rahane would have retired. I mean, 2 3 years ago. So it's not closed for anybody. It's just that the combination issues make it difficult. I mean, I've tried to explain it in a much simpler way. I could have used even more harsher terms, but I don't want to get into that territory where you're on the firing
So
line
Pranav, you're
because
trying to be
you want to.
politically correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to be diplomatically correct because I don't want to get into that firing territory where people come under our comment section and say, "Look, how do you talk about Rohit Sharma like that?" But it is the problem, right? It is the biggest problem that India have, that the two people who do the bulk of the scoring are not scoring runs. Their batting unit is failing. Eventually, you get an all-rounder to save your batting and add a bit of bowling. But yeah, I mean that's how it is. If this combination works again, brilliant. Otherwise, then get Shubman Gill back for someone. I don't know. If it so happens that somebody is heartbroken and retires all of a sudden, then who knows? Shubman Gill could come back.
I think one
Yeah.
surprise for the series is enough. Like in terms of
So
I
retirement,
hope
like,
I
so.
think one for the series.
yeah, I think like the series result will kind of determine if we get other retirements. I feel somehow. I don't know. Let's see. But anyway, so like looking ahead to tomorrow. So like I think India first of all needs to wrap up the like tail along with Steve Smith is there, so that's a worry. I think 350 to 370 is somewhere they should target to wrap up the Australia bye and then make it big in the first innings. So Rishabh, so how do you see the pitch playing out tomorrow? Do you feel that it will be like decent to bat enough for India, or do you feel it getting a bit uneven tomorrow?
Oh, it's not uneven. I think there's bounce. Apart from one or two balls which I remember, I think one Bumrah delivery which just rose up to, I think it was Usman Khawaja or someone, or and just the odd deliveries. The wicket's been true. You bowl short, keeper's collecting it over his shoulders. You bowl it full, the keeper's collecting and it is waste. So the wicket will be true. There isn't anything in the wicket. So if tomorrow while India bats we see something like a 150 all out, it's the batters to be blamed. You cannot talk about the pitch, you cannot talk about the conditions. It's purely how the batters go out there and bat. If you play a normal cricket, runs are there for the taking. You see guys like Labuschagne, Smith, all of these guys, even Konstas was on a different league altogether. Let's not talk about him. But the players who are out of form, apparently out of form, Smith, Labuschagne, the way they batted, they got to the 50s easily because the ball is coming straight. It's not doing much. You don't expect a lot of things to change tomorrow. It's just that how the batters bat. You see the ball correctly, you play it straight, you're getting runs. And if you are not getting a run, that means it's you to be blamed and not anyone or anything else. That's as simple as that.
True. And so yeah, Pranav, so your last thoughts on tomorrow, what we can expect?
I think what I expect is a few quick wickets for India and they wrap up the tail. Steve Smith stands in that midway of wrapping up the tail and getting to 400. I think 360, 370 would be a comfortable one. If India can get somewhere around the out of the first session, the sun baking down, wicket will get slightly easier even with the new ball to bat. Um, I'm really keen to watch how Rohit Sharma goes about his batting. Um,
Lot of pressure
it's
on him.
it's the previous topic that we discussed about Shubman Gill. It's the same thing, right? How Rohit Sharma bats, how Virat Kohli bats, especially after he was banned. Sorry, not banned, fined. For the instance with Sam Konstas, he fined 20% of his match fee and one demerit point. So it should fire him up for this rest of the series, I hope. But yeah, if India can get somewhere close to 300, 320, I'm not thinking even about a lead because, I mean, if you think less, you get more. So, assuming that India gets somewhere around 320, that will open up the game a little bit. 320 will require around tomorrow's day and then day three, half at least, assuming that one of the batters stick around and you get 1 ton at least. Um, and if at all Australia end up losing this test or even drawing this test, it'll be up to the top four because the top four have got starts. None of them have converted it. And I think that is where it'll be a problem for Australia. But yeah, I just hope India bat well because they bat deep. If you get one player sticking up to 100, then the rest can just play around him. It's just about the basics. Like Rishabh mentioned, you don't have to try anything fancy that Sam Konstas did. Watch out for Scott Bullen
Yeah.
because he'll be someone who will just keep hitting those lengths and give nothing away. And that's where I feel KM Rahul should have opened because again, he'll just not keep his bat out at all. But yeah, let's see what happens. Fingers crossed. I think if India can get to somewhere around 300 by the end of the day's play tomorrow, I mean, fancying too much, but 250, 260 odd for 4, 5, I'm still happy. 150 all out, then you give up the series completely. I have no hopes around the series.
Yeah, fair enough. So, I mean, that's what we had for today. So, let's look ahead to tomorrow, day two. Like, we will do a day review tomorrow as well. So, and Rushabh, I think, is going for a BBL game right now. So, that's some nice experience. So, thanks all for watching, joining. Do let us know in the comments, like, what are your thoughts on day one and what India can do to improve what Australia did right. So, yeah, see you later again tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you guys.